You are not poor because the world is unfair. You are not lost because life is cruel. You are where you are because of the thoughts you think, the emotions you indulge, and the discipline you either possess or do not. If you wish to attract wealth, do not chase it. Master yourself. Master your emotions. Master your time. Master your mind. For wealth is not given, it is magnetized. And the magnet is built in silence, in discipline, in inner control. The man who learns to command himself will find that all things follow his voice. But the man who demands the world obey before he obeys himself will forever live in confusion. So I say to you, stop wasting time. Time is the currency of destiny. You spend it whether you want to or not. And if you do not invest it with clarity and force, it will be stolen by triviality, emotion, and distraction. Time waits for no man, but time yields to the man who disciplines himself. There are 10 laws, 10 forces you must engrave into your mind if you wish to stop drifting and start attracting. 10 powers, not of charm or chance, but of character. For wealth flows to the man of command, not command over others, but command over self. Let us begin. 1. Establish a definite chief aim. A man without a purpose is a ship without a rudder, tossed by the waves of distraction, emotion, and other people's expectations. If you wish to attract wealth, define what wealth means to you, not just in gold or digits, but in power, in independence, in contribution. Your chief aim must be written, spoken, memorized, obsessed over. For the mind without a chief aim is easily conquered by fear, but the mind with purpose becomes immune to interference. Define your aim so clearly that nothing else can seduce you. Say it aloud, feel it in your spine, and move toward it daily. Wealth is attracted to motion, to forward-focused, disciplined movement. R. Detach from emotion. Become master, not servant. Emotions are servants, but they make poor masters. The man who cannot detach from his feelings will forever be led by them into bitterness, distraction, and self-sabotage. Wealth does not arrive in chaos. It arrives in calm, in order, in deliberate thought. You must become emotionally detached, not from life, but from reactivity. You must become a commander of your internal state. This is the foundation of all personal power. The ability to feel without obeying, to notice without reacting, to act without apology. Detach from the praise of others, it is not your compass. Detach from the insults of fools, they are not your judges. Detach from the need to be seen, liked, or celebrated. That is the addiction of the weak. And above all, detach from fear, for fear is the jailer of potential. 3. Build the habit of accurate thinking. Do not think by default. Think deliberately, accurately. Most people believe what they feel, not what is true, and they pay for this mistake with their potential. If you wish to attract wealth, think with clarity. Remove assumptions. Test every belief. Ask, is this useful? Is this empowering? Is this rooted in cause and effect or emotion and tradition? Accurate thinking is the compass of achievement. A man who does not learn to think clearly is doomed to follow those who do. Wealth follows those who see reality as it is, not as they wish it to be, for only then can they shape it. 4. Master the principle of self-discipline. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Without discipline, every dream becomes a burden. Every goal becomes a source of shame. Without discipline, your potential becomes a ghost that haunts you. Discipline is not suffering. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is saying yes to your highest self and no to every lesser temptation. It is showing up when you feel like quitting. It is silence when you wish to complain. It is control when you wish to collapse. Wealth does not respond to passion alone. It responds to the one who shows up again and again no matter how he feels. Feelings fade, discipline remains. 5. Control your environment, inner and outer. You cannot control every event, but you can command your space. The mind is shaped by its surroundings. Eliminate noise, remove weak voices, erase distraction. Create a temple around your purpose. Let every item in your environment point you toward your wealth, not away from it. This is not minimalism. This is power. This is control. But beyond the outer, build the inner. Your inner world is sacred. Guard it. Do not allow the complaints of the world to rent space in your head. Do not let the news program your fear. Do not let social media program your desire. Command your inputs. Curate your focus. A mind exposed to chaos will produce chaos, but a mind fed with clarity will birth empires. 6. Practice personal initiative. Do not wait to be told. Do not ask permission. The man of wealth is the man of movement. Personal initiative is the spark of greatness. It is the refusal to wait. It is the fire that moves before others wake, acts before others decide, builds before others believe. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for certainty. Take initiative. Build the habit of acting on your plans before comfort can interrupt. Action is the signal to the subconscious that you are ready for more. Initiative opens doors. Passivity builds prisons. 7. Learn the art of silence. Not all power is loud. The most powerful men speak less, listen more, and act with precision. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the forge where clarity is built. In silence, the weak man is tortured. The strong man is transformed. Practice silence daily. Remove noise, enter solitude, observe your thoughts, test them, refine them. Great decisions are not made in frenzy. They are made in stillness. He who cannot be alone with his thoughts cannot build a mind worth trusting. Silence trains the inner eye, and the inner eye sees paths others miss. 8. Apply the law of autosuggestion. What you repeat, you become. Every sentence you speak aloud plants a seed in your subconscious. Every affirmation, every declaration, every identity you reinforce becomes the soil for your future. Repeat your purpose daily. Affirm your character. Speak not of what you fear, but of who you are becoming. Say, I am disciplined, I am focused, I am calm, I am rich in mind and soon in matter. I attract wealth because I control myself. I deserve abundance because I have mastered delay. Autosuggestion is not magic. It is programming. The subconscious mind will obey what it hears repeatedly. Speak only what you want it to build. 9. Delay gratification, train the will. Pleasure is cheap. Discipline is gold. The man who seeks to feel good now will never feel great later, but the man who masters delay becomes unstoppable. Train yourself to wait. Delay the reward. Withhold the comfort. Control the appetite, because every time you do, you strengthen the will, and the will is the weapon of destiny. You are not a slave to sugar, sex, scrolling, or sleep. You are the master of your hour, the builder of your day, the architect of your energy. Wealth comes not to the hungriest, but to the strongest. Not the one who feels the most desire, but the one who can hold it, tame it, and use it as fuel. 10. Live as the man you intend to become. Do not wait to become successful before you behave like it. Act now as the man who deserves it. Speak now as the man who commands it. Walk now as the man who already owns it. Your future self must be summoned, not by time, but by discipline, not by luck, but by intent. The world respects the man who respects himself. The universe yields to the man who walks in alignment. Do not ask for riches. Become rich in spirit, in thought, in behavior, and riches will come. You cannot fool the world. You cannot deceive your soul. You attract not what you want, but what you are. So stop wasting time. Every hour spent in doubt is an hour stolen from destiny. Every minute spent in reactivity is a minute wasted in servitude. You were not born to react. You were born to rule. Rule your thoughts. Rule your emotions. Rule your actions. Rule your world. Do not confuse movement with progress. Do not confuse ambition with action. And above all, do not confuse knowledge with transformation. The world is filled with intelligent failures, men who knew better but did not do better. The man who builds an empire is not the man who simply knows what to do, but the one who disciplines himself to do it with relentless consistency, regardless of how he feels. You must begin to act from principle, not from emotion. Do not let your moods dictate your movement. Feelings are fleeting, but purpose is eternal. Emotions are weather, purpose is climate. And only the man who can rise above the storm of his own moods can chart a course toward greatness. If you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever. If you act only when it is easy, you will remain ordinary. The extraordinary man is not the one who avoids difficulty, but the one who chooses his direction and advances with or without the permission of emotion. Let us speak now of time, because time is the equalizer. It is the raw material of greatness, and it is being spent with every breath you take. Do not say, I don't have time. That is a lie. The truth is, you do not yet control your time. You have not yet prioritized it. You have not yet severed yourself from distraction. The man who values his future learns to ruthlessly eliminate the unnecessary. He does not negotiate with mediocrity. He does not argue with comfort. He eliminates it. He decides once and for all that anything that does not build him must be broken off. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is honor. It is the declaration that you are worthy of your own potential. It is the sacred commitment to become who you are meant to be, not by chance, but by conscious evolution, to rise in the morning not because the alarm clock rang, but because your purpose called, to train the body not for vanity, but because energy is power, to study not for credentials, but because knowledge is your sword. And let it be known, your mind is your kingdom, and every thought you allow to enter is either a loyal subject or a traitor. You must guard your gates. You must examine every idea that seeks entry. Is it aligned with your purpose? Does it feed your discipline? Or does it flatter your ego while starving your destiny? The mind left undisciplined will entertain its own destruction. But the mind ruled with precision becomes the workshop of wealth, the temple of transformation, the engine of greatness. Control your reactions. For the man who reacts is ruled by others, but the man who responds is governed by principle. There is a difference between the slave and the sovereign. The slave reacts, he is triggered, emotional, chaotic. The sovereign responds, he is thoughtful, grounded, and unshakable. If you are easily offended, easily distracted, easily discouraged, you are easy to control. And if you are easy to control, you will never control your outcomes. Begin now to study yourself like a scientist. When are you weakest? When are you most undisciplined? What triggers your doubt, your delay, your indulgence? Identify them, map them, and then eliminate them. Replace them. Rewire your habits, your patterns, your rituals. There is no shame in having flaws. The shame is in leaving them unchallenged. Now listen carefully. Wealth is not something you pursue blindly. It is something you magnetize. You do not chase it like a dog, you become worthy of it like a king. You do not beg for opportunity. You build yourself into the kind of man opportunity cannot ignore. The world does not pay you for effort, it pays you for value. And value is produced through mastery, mastery of thought, mastery of emotion, mastery of behavior. If you wish to attract wealth, you must first become wealth in your habits, your thoughts, your presence. You must carry the energy of a man who does not beg, who does not delay, who does not fear. Walk into every room like a man on a mission because you are. Speak like a man who has nothing to prove but everything to build. Think like a man who has already decided he will not be stopped. And now I will give you a secret, a truth that most men will never understand. The more you detach, the more you attract. Detach from outcomes. Detach from praise. Detach from needing to be understood. Do the work. Build the vision. Say less. Think more. Move silently and let your results do the talking. Let your mornings be rituals. Let your days be sacred ground. Let your nights be reflections. Do not waste your time arguing with the mediocre, comparing yourself to the uninspired, or explaining yourself to the blind. Your life is not a democracy. Your mission is not up for debate. Remember, the man who needs approval forfeits authority. But the man who stands alone, grounded in purpose, becomes unstoppable. Now rise. Stand in front of your life like a general before battle. Look at your habits like weapons. Sharpen them. Look at your distractions like enemies. Eliminate them. Look at your thoughts like your soldiers. Train them. Do not wait for someone to save you. Become the man who saves himself. Do not wait for permission to be great. Grant it to yourself. Do not search for motivation. Become the source of it. And when you feel tired, when you feel weak, when the world says rest, remind yourself that the rarest form of wealth is inner mastery, and you are becoming rich indeed. You must now make a vow, a silent, unbreakable vow between yourself and the version of you that is waiting not in the sky, not in some distant future, but within. Make this vow with the solemnity of a man who has buried the excuses of his past and lit a torch in the cave of his own mediocrity. The vow is simple. I will no longer act from emotion. I will act from principle. I will no longer speak from weakness. I will speak from clarity. I will no longer move from fear. I will move from intention. This vow must not be written once. It must be written daily, hourly, breath by breath, carved into your spine by the friction of self-denial and forged in the furnace of your own rebirth. Because to master yourself is not a one-time act. It is a continual revolution, a perpetual reassertion of sovereignty against the invading armies of distraction, emotion, and fear. The average man looks for motivation. The superior man builds discipline. Motivation is a wave. Discipline is the tide. The wave comes and goes. The tide shapes the shore. You cannot build a future on emotional spikes and occasional intensity. You build it on daily mastery, on boring repetition, on private victories, on saying no when nobody is watching, on choosing structure when others choose, surrender. There is no greatness without repetition. The body is shaped by repeated resistance. So too the mind. Do not be afraid to be bored. Be afraid to be average. Do not avoid structure. Build one. Live by one. Refine it, obey it, and then, once it has made you strong, outgrow it and build another. That is evolution. That is control. Let me tell you now what most will never tell you. The secret to mental mastery is not more knowledge. It is subtraction. It is the elimination of noise, the removal of reaction, the silencing of fear. True power is found in quiet command, in mental economy, in the space between stimulus and response. In that moment, that razor's edge of awareness lies the seed of greatness. Learn to pause, learn to wait, learn to feel without obeying. That is the discipline of kings. That is the sovereignty of those who shape nations, movements, legacies. He who cannot pause is a slave. He who cannot delay is a beggar. He who cannot observe his own mind will never command it. And what of pain? You must not flee from it. You must not numb it. You must learn to speak its language. Pain is the messenger. Pain is the prophet of potential. Pain is the voice that says, there is more in you still. You are not finished. You are not forged. You are not worthy yet of the throne you dream of. Let pain not break you. Let it brand you. Let it wake the warrior within. The man who cannot suffer cannot succeed. Because wealth is not the absence of discomfort, it is the reward for endurance. You must become bigger than your appetites. You must become stronger than your cravings. You must become colder than your emotions. Not as a robot, but as a craftsman, a man who knows when to use fire and when to let it pass. And yes, let's speak of hunger. Do not suppress your hunger. Channel it. Hunger is divine. But do not waste it on shallow victories or empty pleasures. Aim it, shape it, starve it until it obeys you. Do not feed your hunger with comfort. Feed it with conquest. Let your hunger build businesses. Let it write books. Let it raise your children with legacy. Let it turn your minutes into monuments. Now listen, and listen well. If you wake each morning wondering what to do, you have already lost. If you check your phone before your purpose, you are already owned. If your mind is unguarded in the morning, the enemy has already marched into your day. So own your mornings, ritualize them, defend them. Start your day not with noise, but with decision, not with distraction, but with direction. Create silence. Speak your aims. Move your body. Control your breath. Read from your principles and begin. Each day must be war not against others, but against the man you were yesterday. And when the doubts come, and they will when your mind whispers that it's too late, that you're too tired, that the odds are too high, answer it with laughter. Because doubt is the signal that you're leaving the herd. It is the echo of your old self gasping in the distance. Do not go back. Do not wait for permission. Doubt is not your judge. It is your milestone. Let others waste their time debating. You will be too busy building. Let others wait to be told. You will be the one who speaks. Let others wish. You will. Because wealth does not respond to want, it responds to worth, and worth is earned in silence, in solitude, in repeated refusal to compromise with weakness. Now close the door, light the fire, make the vow again, and begin the next hour like it is the test of your life, because it is. You do not know how many hours remain. You do not know how many chances you'll get to build, to forge, to become. The hour in front of you is the only one you can control and the only one that matters. So rise. Do not hesitate. Do not explain. Do not delay. Move, sharpen, command, and build yourself into the kind of man who attracts wealth, not by charm, but by conviction. Not by luck, but by labor. Not by hope, but by unbreakable self-mastery. Detach not because you do not care, but because you care too deeply to be distracted. Detachment is not apathy. It is power in its purest form. It is the ability to observe without being owned. It is the discipline to act from vision, not from vanity. It is the armor of the focused, the fortress of the strategic. Detachment is what allows the master to move while others react, to endure while others panic, to execute while others explain. You must learn to detach from every outcome that is not aligned with your highest aim. If praise inflates you, criticism will destroy you. If you need applause to move, silence will paralyze you. But when you detach, when you anchor yourself to principle, not preference, then you become immovable. Then you become inevitable. Then you are not swayed by the temporary winds of mood or market because you are driven by the permanent current of mission. Energy is the new currency. And just as you would not hand your wealth to a thief, do not hand your energy to noise. Every distraction is a withdrawal. Every argument, every resentment, every petty engagement it costs you. And if you spend your energy on the trivial, you will be bankrupt when it's time to build. Guard your energy like gold. Audit your inputs. Cut off what drains. Strengthen what feeds. If a man does not protect his energy, he forfeits his future. Silence is the chamber of champions. It is where clarity is forged, where illusions fall away, where the truth becomes louder than the world. You must create space, not to escape, but to sharpen. To become still is not to become soft. It is to become surgical. Stillness is not weakness. It is readiness. It is the strength to hold the sword steady while others swing blindly. See yourself clearly, ruthlessly, with no embellishment, not as you wish to be, not as others see you, but as you are. Only then can you begin to shape what must be shaped. Visualization is not fantasy. It is rehearsal. It is the blueprint of the mind before the construction of action. Every man who has built anything first built it twice, once within, once without. If you cannot hold the vision with clarity, you will not hold the result with integrity. When you visualize, see it in detail. See the obstacles. See your own fear, and overcome it in your mind first. See the rejection, the loneliness, the long nights, and endure them in your imagination before reality ever tests you. Then when they arrive, you are not surprised. You are prepared. You are ready, because you have already overcome. True vision is not pretty. It is not a mood board or a fantasy reel. It is war planning. It is terrain analysis. It is mental pre-conquest. And he who visualizes thoroughly conquers calmly. His energy does not spike with success or crash with failure. He moves through both like a river because his roots are deep, because his direction is chosen. And now you must become a surgeon with your time. The undisciplined man is always busy but never effective. The disciplined man is rarely seen but always felt. He is efficient with thought, precise with speech, intentional with action. Cut the excess, strip the non-essential, operate like an elite, because you are not here to experience everything. You are here to build something. You are here to leave something. You are here to become something. Most men are exhausted because they are leaking energy through 1,000 unguarded gates, thinking about things they cannot control, reacting to noise that does not matter, explaining themselves to people who cannot understand. Stop. You do not owe your energy to anyone who does not feed your fire. You do not owe your explanation to anyone who does not carry your burden. Guard your fire. Guard your focus. Guard your future. And when it becomes hard, because it will remember this, difficulty is not a sign to stop, it is a signal to rise. Resistance is the gatekeeper of the elite. And if it were easy, it would mean you are not aiming high enough. Embrace friction. It is shaping you. Every time you say no to weakness, you are building the architecture of strength. Every time you act in defiance of your comfort, You are proving to your own soul that you are not to be negotiated with. You are to be obeyed. This is how you become magnetic to wealth. This is how you attract success without chasing it, not by wishing, but by wiring, not by appearing rich, but by becoming powerful. Build yourself into the kind of man who cannot be overlooked, and then the world, even in its blindness, will be forced to see. Do not ask, "How do I feel about this?" Ask, "What must be done?" For the man who consults his feelings before his mission is not yet a man of authority. He is a servant of circumstance. You are not here to feel ready. You are here to become ready. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be effective. And every time you delay action in favor of comfort, you teach your mind to submit. But every time you execute without hesitation, you teach your soul to lead. Authority begins within. It is not granted, it is assumed. The world bends not to the loud, but to the grounded. The man who walks with internal authority does not need to convince his presence is conviction. He does not shout his silence strikes deeper than noise. He does not explain his results speak. And when you become this man, everything changes. You stop chasing outcomes. You start commanding them. But hear me now. Authority is not aggression. It is not domination. It is precision. It is the stillness of a man who knows. A man who has burned his excuses, buried his doubt, and now walks like a blade across the landscape of his destiny. He is firm but not cruel, calm but not passive, cold but not lifeless. He is heat controlled, fire mastered, will forged into a weapon of divine clarity. You must eliminate the gap between thought and action. The longer you wait, the weaker you become. The mind justifies what the soul knows it must do. Procrastination is not laziness. It is fear in disguise. The cure is movement. Swift, decisive, unapologetic movement. Move even when you're uncertain. Move even when you're tired. Movement clarifies. It cuts fog like a blade. It turns confusion into momentum. And momentum is the breath of the disciplined man. Do not aim to be consistent in emotion. Aim to be consistent in execution. Because emotion is volatile, it fluctuates like weather. But if your actions are grounded in principles, you will become a man who does what is right, even when it feels wrong. That is the measure of greatness, not enthusiasm, but endurance. Not motivation, but maturity. The weak man waits for alignment between his feelings and his duties. The strong man aligns his feelings through action. He doesn't ask the mood for permission. He commands it. He reclaims it. And if it will not obey, he proceeds without it. Now let us speak of direction. Do not mistake activity for advancement. Busyness is not productivity. Effort is not excellence. The man of discipline chooses the vital few over the trivial many. He knows that the enemy of greatness is not failure. It is distraction. Do not scatter your fire across 1,000 tasks. Channel it. Concentrate it, like the sun through a lens, and it will burn through anything. Write down your objectives. Study them. Speak them. Structure your days around them. Reject everything that does not feed them. You cannot conquer your future while entertaining every invitation. You must learn to say no, and say it often, not with guilt, not with explanation, but with certainty. Because every yes to nonsense is a no to your vision, and your vision must be sacred, untouchable, non-negotiable. Discipline is not deprivation, it is liberation. It is the refusal to be ruled by appetite, by trend, by impulse. It is the declaration that your future matters more than your urges. The undisciplined man eats what he feels like eating, says what he feels like saying, does what he feels like doing, and he ends up in emotional poverty, intellectual debt, and spiritual bankruptcy. But the disciplined man, he feels the same things and acts differently. That is the key. Discipline does not numb emotion, it overrides it. It is not the absence of temptation, it is the presence of command. It is the invisible weight that builds visible success, the silent ritual behind every loud result. You will not rise by default. You will rise by design, by the daily sculpting of thought, the deliberate redirection of energy, the unapologetic guarding of your standards. You must design your inner architecture like a temple built not on what is trending, but on what is eternal. Strength, focus, honor, precision, vision. And if others cannot understand your silence, your structure, your fire that is not your burden, that is their limitation. Let them call you cold. Let them call you intense. Let them say you've changed. Because the only thing worse than being misunderstood is remaining mediocre just to be liked. So rise now, not tomorrow, not next year. Now, wake the architect of your future. Command the soldier in your soul. Sit with the king inside your mind. And walk into the battlefield of the world like a man who no longer needs to ask, "Can I do this?" Because you know now the answer. You were made for it. You will not need to shout when your life begins to speak. For the man who has mastered himself, the world listens in silence, not because he commands with force, but because he lives in such alignment that even the stars seem to conspire with his footsteps. Inner sovereignty is not a concept, it is a magnetic field. It is the silent contract between you and the universe that says, "I will rise even when no one claps. I will build even when the world sleeps. I will stand alone. And by standing alone, I will become unshakable." The greatest transformations do not begin in crowds, they begin in quiet rooms, in solitary hours, in early mornings when the world still sleeps and the weak still dream. While others scroll, you write. While others complain, you construct. While others escape, you endure. And that difference, small at first, becomes everything. That is the seed of destiny. Do not measure your growth by applause. Measure it by alignment. Are your actions aligned with your purpose? Are your thoughts aligned with your values? Are your days aligned with the man you swore to become? If they are, then press on. If they are not, then stop now, not to sulk, but to redirect. For every day you continue misaligned is a day you feed the wrong future. And yes, there will be pain, but there is a kind of pain that is noble. The pain of discipline, the pain of growth, the pain of forging a future that does not yet exist. Learn to love that pain. Learn to smile while it carves you, because every scar it leaves is a blueprint for someone else's freedom. You do not suffer alone. You suffer forward, for your children, for your legacy, for the man whose name you carry into eternity. Now is the time. Not when you feel like it, not when things are perfect. Now, because clarity comes from action, not from thinking. Purpose comes from movement, not from theory. You do not need more motivation. You need a standard. You do not need more praise. You need a mission. You do not need to be pushed. You need to remember who you are. You are not here by accident. You are here because something greater saw fit to test you with the hardest material known to man, your own potential. And what you do with that test will echo through generations. Will you cave to comfort, or will you carve your soul into something sacred? Do not wait to be saved. Become the kind of man who doesn't need saving. Become the rock others cling to when the sea is chaos. Become the signal in the noise, the fire in the cold, the truth in a world built on lies, not by preaching but by being, not by telling but by showing, not by reacting but by reigning. And when you walk through fire, do not flinch, do not explain, do not look back. Walk through as if you were born for it, because you were. You are not a child of ease. You are the heir of endurance. You are the son of struggle, the brother of burden, the father of fortitude. Everything that has happened has prepared you not to survive, but to lead. So rise, without apology, without permission, without delay. Rise not because you're ready, but because readiness comes from rising. Rise not because it's easy, but because you no longer tolerate easy. Rise because the world needs one more man who cannot be bought, cannot be broken, and cannot be silenced. And let this be the hour you stopped waiting. Let this be the moment the old you died. Let this be the day history remembers as the birth of your real life. And let your legacy be written in how you lived with fire in your spirit, silence in your soul, and power in every step you took forward.